Hey everyone, it's Shawn. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the interaction between your board and your lawyer. Now this can get a little complex in corporate matters. Usually it's fairly simple, but as issues come up, as situations arise, sometimes this gets a little technical and sometimes it's important to examine. So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about that interaction between your board and your lawyer and how things should be lining up. Typically, your lawyer is working for the company, the business entity involved. So they have a duty to apprise the company, to look at situations, to update the board and the officers' management team on what's going on in the company, and help formulate strategy. And so usually the board is in perfect alignment with that. The board might have questions about things, and the lawyer will typically reach out to the board and answer those questions, advise. Where things get a little bit interesting is when we start having interested director transactions, conflicts in the board. And in those cases, that lawyer needs to examine, should they be counsel to the board? Are they counsel to the company? And then can they advise the individual board members? Now, they can advise the company, obviously, if they're retained by the company. But sometimes those individual board members will be looking at their rights, their access to records, maybe trying to protect their record of fulfilling their fiduciary duties. And at some point, it comes to a point where a director needs to get independent counsel. They need their own lawyer who is going to advise them on what the risks, what the opportunities are, and really separate from the company. Because at some point, things become contentious enough that there's a divergence between what's best for the company and what's best for the board member. At that point, the company's counsel should advise the board members who are potentially looking for individual advice to go get their own lawyers. And in fact, the company's counsel should make it clear that they are counsel to the company. This is something I tend to periodically bring up with my clients. Like, I am counsel to the company. And when individual transactions start happening, directors start looking at things, a lot of times I take the time to stop and say, I am counsel to the company. I am not your personal counsel. If you need personal counsel, you can go hire that. I'll welcome talking to your personal counsel. But I have to advise from a company perspective and do what's best for the company. And so that clear lines need to be drawn. And so if you're a board member and you're unclear, is this lawyer working for me? Are they working for the company? Are they working for the entire board? Who do they work for? One great thing to do is just to ask. Say, who are you working for? Who has retained you? Who do you owe your duties to? Who are you protecting confidential information for? The board member deserves that answer, and the attorney should be able to answer that. And so you need to look at that. And if you feel like you need independent advice and you're not getting it, it's a great time to bring your own lawyer in. Now, it can add to the complication. A lot of people shy away from that just because of the complexity and cost. But if you need that independent advice, you deserve it, and you should go find a resource for that. So that's how the board interacts with the lawyer. Typically, it's very well aligned. But then if we start getting into conflicted transactions or problems, it can get real complicated real fast. This is where you probably want to pick up the phone, get your own lawyer, get some advice. The company may or may not have to pay for your attorney, so you may be getting it covered through your board arrangements. So look at that possibility. Get your independent advice, and go back, figure out what the best strategy is. If you have general questions, comments, ideas for future videos, drop them below. But don't put anything confidential. Videos like this are not protected from other people seeing them, so anything you put out there can be public, so don't put anything confidential. And I hope you subscribe to the channel so we can join each other for more videos in the future. And there's a whole library of past videos waiting for you on the channel.